Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist David Cay Johnston predicted on CNN on Tuesday that Donald Trump's family business will be charged with racketeering. Johnston is one of the few journalists to obtain Trump's tax returns, following news that the accounting firm Mazars dropped Trump as a client. Take a look at the interview with CNN's John Berman.
David Cay Johnston. David, thanks so much for being with us this morning. Mazars dumped the Trump organization. What's the significance of that?
Well, it's very important in Donald's case because he's facing questions about running a racketeering enterprise, and running a fraudulent company is at the very center of that, so that his accountants have turned against him and disavowed these compilations they put together where they said, well, here's what our client Donald said these things were worth, here's how much money he said he had in the bank, without checking it, which is what we expect accountants to do. Indicates Donald is more and more being separated from people who can do him great harm by simply telling the truth.
What happens if Mazars cooperates with investigators, which by all accounts, it does seem that they are?
Well, Donald Bender, the Mazars accountant who prepares Trump's tax returns, testified before the Manhattan grand jury. And New York has this very unusual law. If you testify before the grand jury, you are granted immunity. That's not true at the federal level and in other states. So he no longer is in concern personally for anything he may have done from the Manhattan prosecutors. But it does mean that Mazars is helping the prosecutors put together what I expect will be a racketeering case, a New York State racketeering case against Trump, the Trump organization, Alan Weisselberg, and probably Donald's three oldest children.
New York's Enterprise Corruption and the Organized Crime Control Act, often known as Little RICO, is the state's adaptation of the federal Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act that is designed to go after organized crime. The New York statute can carry prison terms of up to 25 years.
Where do you think this ends for Donald Trump and the Trump organization?
Well, the civil matter by Letitia James is going to result in a civil suit making numerous charges of falsification of documents, false claims, and obtaining benefits as a result. The Manhattan grand jury is eventually going to indict Donald Trump. They got 5 million pages of documents, John, and they have to go through every one of them before they can finish their work. But Donald Trump will be indicted on a state racketeering charge. I'm confident of that. And perhaps in Westchester County by Mimi Rocha, the new DA there, and in Fulton County, Georgia, by Fannie Willis, who's looking into voter fraud and now has a grand jury just for the purpose of investigating Trump's effort to interfere with the Georgia vote count.
According to a report from the Daily Beast, while Donald Trump and his family were reeling from the New York Times report that the Trump organization's accounting firm was severing ties with the company, the family suffered another blow in a federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. As the Beast Jose Pagliari reported, the Trump organization, and specifically Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump, are now facing the prospect of going to trial in a case involving the misuse of inauguration donations back in 2017. According to the report, Washington, D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine is seeking to take Donald Trump and members of his family to court over more than $1 million that the prosecutor maintains was used illegally. Previously, D.C. Superior Court Judge Jose M. Lopez appeared to ruin the local Attorney General's investigation when he decided the case could proceed, but dropped the Trump organization from the lawsuit. His odd reasoning was that Donald Trump Jr.'s financier friend, Gentry Beach, had made a deal on behalf of the Trump organization without the company's permission, and therefore the company wasn't really at fault. However, on Monday, newly appointed Judge Yvonne Williams overruled Lopez, saying there is enough evidence to include the Trump family members by writing, "It was erroneous for the court to rule against the district based on the district's failure to depose Mr. Beach, when the court had withheld ruling on the district's request to conduct that very discovery." According to Pagliari, that puts the Trump kids squarely back in the middle of the case. Racine seeks to have the Trump Hotel D.C. pay back nearly $1 million in funds that were spent on what local government investigators describes as self-dealing by the incoming president's adult kids, to personally benefit themselves using money meant to celebrate the nation's peaceful transfer of power. At the crux of that alleged scheme is an episode in which the Trump organization reserved a block of rooms at the Loews Madison Hotel, only to stiff the hotel when more than a dozen expected guests didn't show up. The company managed to dodge a credit collection agency and pushed off the $49,358 bill to the nonprofit Presidential Inaugural Committee, the PIC. The report notes that Racine celebrated the ruling by announcing his next steps, tweeting out, "Our lawsuit is moving forward fully intact and full steam ahead. We sued the inaugural committee for misusing funds to enrich the Trump family. Now we're going to trial." Thank you for watching. Please be sure to visit us at rawstory.com. And if you'd like to see more of the Raw Report, please like and subscribe and join others who like their news raw too.